Good evening, and good afternoon. 12:10, 12:11, 12:14 in the Kingdom of Vietnam, Socialist Republic of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, Binh Tan District. They're constructing an apartment building right next to my apartment building, and I've been really enjoying the sound of what sounds like a chainsaw being used to cut concrete. But it's only for about 10 to 12 hours a day, so it's not that often. Ho Chi Minh is quite a hostile city. I think the country as a whole is quite, maybe if you go more to the country areas, countryside, but this big cities are quite hostile. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh the other places aren't that bad. They're very different from Thailand and Cambodia, the cultures. It's funny that they've got two different forms of Buddhism. Thailand and Cambodia have got the Theravada Buddhism, which supposedly, when I read up on it, is the original form of Buddhism. It came along from southern India and Sri Lanka, and it was, I think, according to Wikipedia, made its way to Southeast Asia, whereas the Vietnamese have the Mayana or something, Mayahana or something, Mayarana, I can't remember, Mayana. It's more than that. There's a consonant in there I'm missing, I think. Form of Buddhism. And I can't really remember what the difference is with that. I think they incorporate more demons and saints and all that sort of stuff in it. I can't really remember. But they definitely have different cultures, and to be honest, the Thai and the Cambodian culture is a lot more pleasant, I've found. I guess, I don't know what it is. You can't really say, the Vietnamese have had a very difficult history, but the Cambodians, I don't know if their history was that bad before the Khmer Rouge, apart from poverty and being a rural country, I don't think they had, they were colonized by the French, as the Vietnamese were. The Vietnamese were colonized by the Chinese for 1,000 years. And I just found out that even though they're very, very hostile towards the Chinese in Vietnam, there is a lot of people here of Chinese descent. I didn't realize that. I met a guy, just a young guy, 18-year-old guy, through my friends, not on the website, who was telling me his last name is O-A-N-H, which is Wang, because that's how they pronounce, that's how they spell the phonetically W, and N-G is N-H, and the W sound is O-A. And there's a lot of people called that in Vietnam. And Chang too, T-R-A-N-G. T-R is Ch sound. T-R-A-N-H is actually Chang, which is pretty Chinese sounding. So I didn't realize that. Because all over Southeast Asia, you have, Chinese communities. Cambodia, they're always the businessmen, They're like they say, the Jews of the Far East. It's always saying Jews instead of Jewish people, because Jews sounds like a racial slur. But it isn't. I guess it's for obvious historical reasons, but the Jewish people of the Far East. I think I'd like to talk about that, Jewish people. They've, they didn't have a nation for 2,000 years, and they survived and managed to keep intact their culture and their it is really a culture. A lot of Jews don't actually believe in God and all the rest of it. So And you're not able to do that unless you develop some smarts and some savvy. And, obviously, they talk about IQ tests and all that. I mean, maybe as a culture, the IQ is just more tuned in, It's like the thing the middle class people in Britain have it. Get an education if you want to make money. Want to work your way up the hierarchy. That's the way it works. Join the professions. Yeah, white collar jobs. Whereas working class people, it's not encouraged. They don't encourage their kids to go to university. They just, just accept their lot. Just get a job in the factory, the shipyards. And it doesn't matter if you're white or black or whatever. It's a cultural thing. So, when everybody talks about the Jews running everything, well, anti-Semites talk about that, or, I guess obviously subconsciously people think, well, there's a lot of people in those, in the media and all that, but, what is the stereotype that we hear about Jewish parents putting incredible pressure on their children to perform well in school? Well, that doesn't happen in normal kind of working class families. It happens in Asian families too, obviously, and that's why many of them end up with professional jobs. It's pretty fucking simple, It's not because they have a higher IQ or anything like that. It's because their parents put incredible pressure and encouragement for them to do that. I've actually done an IQ test, just online, just to try it out. And I can see it is very geared towards people who've had some kind of education that revolves around problem solving, mathematics, spatial awareness, that kind of abstract thinking. And if you don't deal with that because you're in your schooling, so that, they talk about, like different parts of the world, they have a lower IQ. I don't think they have a lower IQ, They just are not good at doing the IQ test. Doesn't mean they're less intelligent. There's different expressions of intelligence as well. It can be different, different to me, creativity is not the ability to do math equations, but being creative is, the most admirable quality of intelligence. But I'm biased because I'm sort of arty-farty type. So, each to his own. I heard Scotland was one of the first countries to have where a high proportion of the populace were able to read and write. I'm going to stop looking for big words and just try and say it as succinctly as I can. And lo and behold, the Scottish Enlightenment happened, and very, very influential inventions and scientific discoveries were made by the Scots. And that's just, that was simply because, I think it was something to do with Presbyterianism, and the religion really encouraged everyone to be educated and learn how to read, and, that's just what happens. Same if you encourage everyone, like in Australia, for the sports there. Why the Australians do so well in sports is they actually go into high schools and choose somebody who has the right body shape to be a rower or something. And so they're already physically well matched to perform well in that particular sport. And then they just get the ones that perform that are physically matched to it, and then can also do well at it. So they select. Yeah, it's unnatural selection. So same with the Polynesians in playing rugby. I mean, that's a huge part of the culture. There, I don't have enough time to talk about this, but I've only got 10 seconds left. You focus on something, you get good at it. Simple as that.